everybody, Nikki here with a new More You Know video. Today I'll tell you all about Universal's tribute stores, its history, and give you a few interesting facts along the way. But first, let me remind you to click that subscribe button and that bell notification button so you'll be notified for future videos. What is a tribute store? Well, let's start off by saying it is so much more than the name implies. The tribute store at Universal Orlando Resort is an extremely well-themed retail experience that usually coincides with a seasonal event or ride opening. Past themed tribute stores include Halloween Horror Nights, the Winter Holidays, Mardi Gras, and the opening celebration of Velocicoaster. Each tribute store is open for a limited time. Die-hard Universal fans are always on the lookout for tribute store timeframes in the hopes of catching their favorite ones when visiting. Within the tribute store, there are multiple rooms, each having their own design within the overall theme framework. Tribute stores contain specialty-themed merchandise geared to the overall theme and to the specific room. Photo opportunities like HHN backgrounds, sit in Santa's chair and the King of Mardi Gras chair, and more. Tribute stores also have specialty food and drinks within the theming. And don't let me forget to mention all the cool lighting, special effects, fog, sound effects, and music that happens within. Universal props are also used throughout the space and very often have Easter eggs of rides, homages to HHN houses, and past tribute stores. Some tribute stores have even given a behind-the-scenes look into all the work it takes by Universal's creative team to build. Even Earl the squirrel makes a cameo appearance in several stores. Who is Earl? Well, Earl has become an iconic figure very much related to the tribute stores. As the urban legend goes, just before the holiday season in 2015, Universal Studios team members were putting together the park's annual Christmas tree when a strand of lights mysteriously went out. It was discovered that something had bitten into the wiring. It ended up being a squirrel, which they lovingly named Earl. As the legend continues, it is told that Earl jumped out of the tree at an innocent team member who happened upon him. As the story spread about Earl the squirrel, Universal's creative team set to work to place an homage in the park's Christmas tree that year. Hidden within the large branches, a small mechanical Earl the squirrel would pop out to greet guests holding his very own strand of blue lights. Ever since Earl's holiday debut, his fan base has grown through the years. Earl has had holiday tribute store rooms dedicated to his likeness, and he even pops up now and then in unexpected places, like the Mardi Gras tribute store of 2022. Tribute stores have only existed within the recent years, and is now in its 7th year at Universal Studios Florida. The very first tribute store opened during HHN in 2015. Where is it located? Universal's tribute store is located in the New York section of the park near Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. The store contains sections of backlot, flex space, and what used to be the extended queue of the Revenge of the Mummy ride. A brief history, 2015. The first tribute store debuted during the 2015 Halloween Horror Nights anniversary year. It celebrated past HHN events displaying props from past scare houses, costumes, and memorabilia. It was located within Aftermath, the gift store of Twister Ride It Out. It was a single-room store, but HHN park guests loved it so much that Universal brought it back and leveled up the next year. 2016 through 2017. Originally located in a smaller space, in 2016, the tribute store moved to its current residence in the New York section of Universal Studios. This year's space was now in 2 rooms and was dedicated to the properties featured within that HHN event. Merchandise and theming were all focused on the haunted houses of that year. The The decor, inspired by those TV shows and movies, gave it a wholly new, immersive effect. 2018. Universal leveled up once again, making it an even more immersive environment, focusing more on theme and decor than merchandise. 2 of the now 3 rooms had decor evenly distributed between all IPs, but then came 2 words: Stranger Things. Stranger Things was the big IP that year. It in fact took up 1 full room based on the upside-down parallel universe. It had strobe lights and sound effects and music and more. The response from HHN Park guests was very positive, thus helping evolve the tribute store once again. 2018 laid the groundwork for the future. 2019. By 2019, the tribute store became more of an attraction than just a store with themed merchandise. It grew in size and experience. The themed areas included Ghostbusters, Stranger Things, and classic monsters. 2020. 2020 got 2 new themed tribute stores beyond the scope of HHN to now include the annual events of Mardi Gras and the winter holidays. Themed snacks, desserts, and drinks were also added to the incredible lineup within a 4th new room. For Universal's 25th anniversary of Mardi Gras, the creative team transfigured the space into a French Quarter flat, Lafayette Cemetery No. 1, and the Bayou. The 2020 HHN Tribute Store took place during the Halloween season, just as Halloween Horror Nights was canceled due to the pandemic. It was themed to Frankenstein's Laboratory, Jack the Clown, as well as other past HHN icons with a creepy attic and Beetlejuice. The very first holiday tribute store. The debut of the holiday tribute store included a walkthrough of a traditional German Christmas market, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and a Yuletide Wizarding World Harry Potter store, as well as our buddy Earl the squirrel was back with his very own Christmas tree farm. 2021. In the spring of 2021, the Mardi Gras tribute store was back for a second year. It included a jazz club where a small stage was set off to one side with musical instruments and 2 dueling pianos. The next room was a flower-filled nautical cemetery where sea captains were laid to rest. This led into a waterfront warehouse filled with skulls and pirates and treasure. And then to the final room of the Bayou Bites. Summer 2021, Jurassic World. Summer of 2021 brought the very first summer tribute store with Jurassic World. A first for tribute store theming in terms of celebrating a ride opening. The first room began with the Velocicoaster control room. The next room was the Raptor Paddock, where 3 Raptor figures were on display. Fun fact, these figures traveled the world in 2015 promoting the first Jurassic World film. Next up was a hallway that takes you to the abandoned visitor center's laboratory, styled in the original Jurassic Park theming with overgrown vines. The final room of the tribute store featured Camp Cretaceous, a Triceratops photo op, and many yummy dino-related treats. Fall 2021, HHN. The HHN 2021 tribute store facade's design was that of a vintage and slightly creepy house. The first room themed around a parlor complete with a giant bear. The parlor room was very much like a museum of HHN history. This led to the second room. This room was themed to an iconic library in an old house, complete with a large desk in the center and portraits and busts of past HHN icons dominating the space. Next was a hallway consisting of a series of vintage portraits. These portraits were actually of park guests who were given the opportunity to submit pictures of themselves to be turned into portraits for purchase. This again was a first for tribute stores, and fans loved it. After HHN was over, the portraits were then shipped to the person who bought them. The hallway led into a third room themed around Beetlejuice. The final room had a barn setting that featured an awesome array of HHN snacks. Our favorite was the raspberry lemon cake adorned with a chocolate hatchet. 2021 Holiday Tribute Store. The 2021 Holiday Tribute Store included 4 rooms themed to Santa's Workshop, Earl the Squirrel, the Grinch, and Harry Potter's Yule Ball. The first room, themed as Santa's Workshop, included toys in various stages of production with a moving conveyor belt. Universal also cleverly planted homages to past rides within the toy production and even set a miniature DeLorean being pushed by the holiday train. The second room, titled Earl the Squirrel's Christmas Museum and Emporium, was where the treats and fun Earl the Squirrel merchandise was located. The room was filled with all things Christmas, from light-up plastic Santas to vintage decorations and garland and more. The hallway decor between rooms consisted of portraits of real people that had purchased a caricature to be hung on the wall. Theming include Earl's top nuts and brightest bulbs. It was fun to look for familiar faces on the walls. The third room was themed as the Whoville Sanitation Department, Mount Crumpet Substation. And the final room was a lovely icy configuration themed to the Yule Ball from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. (2022) The 2022 Mardi Gras Tribute Store was titled The Float Factory and featured concept sketches and finalized concept art for multiple projects, both from past and present Mardi Gras events. The walkthrough was geared toward the evolution from concept to completion of the Space Gator and the paddle boat float designs. The first room displayed sketches and labeled boxes, some even referenced Earl. The second room, named Fabrication and Build, was where the Space Gator float would really start to take shape. The hallway included photos from 25 years of Mardi Gras at Universal Studios Florida. Up next, the third room focused on scenic and paint. The room was filled with paint cans and glitter and decorator props from the floats and more. The last room was the showroom where you would see completed floats of the Space Gator and Rocket and paddle boat floats. The store's snacks were in the fourth room as well, and Earl the Squirrel popped up once again in here, dressed in a little space helmet and fancy beads. Merchandise. As cool as it is walking through the tribute store, it still is a store. Merchandise found seamlessly within the incredible immersion include t-shirts, mugs, pins, glassware, posters, masks, ornaments, themed moldoramas, and gold coins, just to say a few. Fun fact, the wax mold figures are not actually wax. They're really plastic. Personally, I love the fact that Universal brought these adorable vintage machines back in use with cool and iconic molded designs in fun colors. And instead of pressed pennies, the tribute stores offer different collectible coins based on the store's theme. Universal's creative team have outdone themselves through the years. The transformation of space from one tribute store to the next is downright awe-inspiring. Universal has created the perfect fusion of immersion, nostalgia, shopping, and snacking. I don't know about you, but I would love to see Universal start giving behind-the-scenes tours of tribute stores. Team members could walk small groups around explaining the backstory and pointing out all the cool details that might be overlooked. So now you know a little bit more about Universal Orlando's tribute stores. What's your favorite tribute store theme? What would you like to see them create next? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and check out these other More You Know videos.